This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with probably our newest resident, Jamie Morrissey. How are you, mate?
What's happening, Steve? I'm good, brother. Happy to be back on with you as well.
Oh, I think we've lost you there momentarily.
Not all good in the hood.
I was sort of saying to you there just before we started, your 100th interview of 2021. So what a landmark occasion they have you on.
Yep.
Our newest resident. Two of the last three interviews have been with you. So we sort of got you before 100, and then we've got you on to 100 as well. So
must have been meant to be, my friend.
It must have been. It's fate's always there. But obviously, we spoke to you on Friday just after you'd weighed in. You're probably the only one we could get a hold of because everybody else was so hungry. But you know, you've had a few days to. I sort of said to you on Saturday night, I'll give you a few days to sort of reflect on what sort of happened. But what a fight!
Great fight, people are saying. You know, luckily you got footage of the fight, but there hasn't been like no up close. I wish I even recorded on my phone up close. I'm delighted now that you got footage. You said it to me after the fight. I was going to be able to go and watch it back. So thank God you got footage. Fair play to you. But they're saying it was a great fight. I would like to see some up close action, but by all accounts it was a war and a great fight from a fan perspective. So
yeah, you haven't had a chance to watch it back yet yourself, then I'm guessing.
Oh no, I watched it back. I watched it back on your footage. So I was delighted with it, man. Yeah? But again, I don't think that it does the up close kind of the war justice. But maybe I don't know. How did it look to you? People were happy with the fight anyway. Yeah,
like being totally honest, as I always am, I probably thought the scorecards were probably a bit wider than they would have been.
Yeah.
I think Joe O'Neill had obviously commented back on my own Twitter on Sunday and sort of said his score, and I agreed with him. I thought it was a 4-round-2 job. You know, I thought it was a 58-56. I thought probably the judgment was probably a bit too positive in your sort of favour, but it didn't take anything away from the fight. I thought, you know, the only thing I probably would say is a fight of that magnitude, two guys putting their unbeaten records on the line and wanting to fight, a bit more of exposure, obviously, on the fight rather than a few days. But, you know, we're still in pandemic times, I guess. You know, you have to take the opportunities when they're there. And, you know, if you do end up doing the rematch, there'll be more build up to it.
For sure. And I think it almost added to it as well, Steve. Like, yeah, there could have been a lot more build up and a lot more exposure leading up to the fight. But the fact that it was kind of like fight week and then boom, the kind of boxing scene got hit with a good domestic matchup. It also added to it fueled the fire in its own sense as well, where it really built excitement from about Wednesday on. And as you said, when you put it up, it was off, it was back on. That kind of added to it also. And as I said previously, I would like to set the tone, and I think the two of us did set the tone. Fair play to Robert Burke as well. We came and had a great fight.
And I know that Leonard and Stephen and Dennis are sort of now looking probably more at doing more in-house fights, because it's keeping money in the sport in Ireland, you know, rather than paying a foreign opponent to come over. And like, you get somebody in there on Saturday night and you blow them away in 30 seconds and you're going, what was the point in the camp? Whereas it was actually more motivation in the fight.
For sure, Steve. And again, like, even I talked about it with Kieran and Boxing Bands, that sometimes, like, especially after my fight in Luxembourg, it didn't feel the way I felt before when you go to a 10 or 12 week training camp and you get this real hard fought for a win. It didn't feel like that. You know, when I won, I felt like I just wasn't satisfied, really. Well, there is a sense, again, I'm very, very happy. I'm not satisfied because I want to push on and get more, but there's definitely a lot more sense of satisfaction about this win, seeing as I met another guy who really came to fight and came to win, and we put it all on the line and left it all in there. So there's definitely more of a satisfying feeling about this one.
Probably some of the highlights I sort of can remember of the fight. I've watched it back a few times since, but I remember, I think it set the tone for the fight straight away when Robbie came out and tried to throw a right hand straight away. It sort of set the gauntlet. But probably what I was most impressed by you yourself was how comfortable you were. You know, even when he was putting pressure on you, you're a novice boxer. You know, it's your second pro fight. You've obviously fought. I'm going to try and get this word right this time, Jamie, but you know the word I'm meaning. Muay Thai. Have I got it right this
Muay
time?
Thai. You got it in one, my friend.
But obviously, I know you've obviously fought Muay Thai, so you're used to that pressure and things like that. But for a novice boxer, I thought you're so grounded, you were so relaxed, and probably some of that credit probably goes down to Shaun and on how he sort of developed you from one fighting trade into another.
Oh, for sure. You know, Shaun has a lot to play with, a lot to pay to pay homage towards in the sense of that, because Shaun kept me grounded very, very well through fight week. And again, also, especially in Thai boxing, I had a lot of wins, but twice I lost in the country, and twice was based on, I learned valuable lessons, Steve, prior to coming into my boxing career. In Muay Thai, it's acceptable to lose. You know what I mean? Because you're fighting the best of the best. The wars are so many variables, elbows, everything flying. And I took some losses, but I learned a lot about myself and my own mentality. And I'm delighted I got to learn those lessons prior to coming into boxing. And but yeah, definitely the likes of Shaun, my teammate Faisal, Craig Redden, they all played a very, very important role in keeping me grounded and just keeping me level-headed. And we had a clear, Shaun, in fairness, had a very concise game plan on what we had to do to beat this fella. And I just stayed focused to that throughout the fight, and I was able to maintain a cool head and just stay focused in there.
And how is that going to help your? Because I know from speaking to you and obviously being in your company and stuff the other day, you're a confident guy, but does that sort of, a win they got against Robbie, who obviously was an experienced amateur and stuff like that as well, does that help your confidence gain new ground? You know that the decision you made to change from Muay Thai into boxing is a decision that's been wise to do, because you're now reaping the benefits of the decision you made.
For sure, Steve, for sure. I'm just delighted with that win, because that win now, no one can question if I deserve my place here or not. So I've kind of announced myself now in the boxing scene. Does it give me confidence? It does. But as I told you previously, I believe in my ability. You know what I mean? I know the level I can perform at. And to be honest, it's just made me hungrier, Steve. You know what I mean? It's like anyone at those old, Sir Alex Ferguson teams, when they won a trophy, it was brilliant, but they're just it makes you hungry for more. And I just want to get back in there again and fight, because there's no feeling quite like it, Steve. It's what I live for. So it's made me, yes, more confident, but a lot more hungry. I just want to get back in there and fight and get after more glory, to be honest.
And what a birthday present as well they have. It was your birthday on the day as well, and a lot of people forgot it was your 27th birthday, and you're going, it was a delayed sort of birthday present on the day, but what a way to finish it off.
For sure, man. No, it was a special day, Steve. It really was. And see, a lot of these people from Limerick, it's a long trip from Limerick, bro. Hotels were expensive. I suppose I had about probably only 35 people travel, but that was still very, with a longer build up, I would have sold a lot more tickets. Mm-hmm. And that's something that will happen in the future. Robbie deserves his rematch, and I'm sure the next one is going to be blockbuster. We'll really get time to sell it, and it'll be a Limerick versus Dublin classic again.
And I know the two are both respectful. I know, obviously, seen the clip Kieran put up, obviously, he's afterwards. You'd sort of said, I was sort of standing with Johnny when he was doing an interview with you for Irish Boxing, and you were sort of saying, Robbie gave you the chance to fight, so it's only fair that obviously he gets a rematch, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he can get the BUA Celtic title on the line as well, and give you a bit of glory to fight for as well.
For sure, Steve. That's the aim for me. I don't know, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember ever before there being a national pro Thai boxing champ, and then to go and replicate that in boxing. So that's the dream for me. So that's what I'm really focused on at the minute, Steve. That's what's getting me back to work this evening. And if that belt is on the line, it's going to be something special, because Robbie has a great fan base. His fan base, he had a lot of guys there and support from Dublin, and they were loud. And I know what I can bring to the table in that sense. So it's going to be something special. You put the belt on the line there too. You're talking about a real special night there, my friend.
And someone that obviously holds, the last holder of the belt. I think you maybe said something the other day about Padraig McCrory, and obviously it was a sort of inspiration. It was sort of good to see him there, sort of supporting. So we're probably fitting to the fact that two good guys, two good honest pros, and yourself and Robbie will then be fighting for the belt that he won, in the field in 2019.
Class, man. Yeah, it's class. Just the boxing culture in Belfast, dude, is unreal. You know what I mean? So just to see a lot of these guys, just fellas doing bits on an international scale now. He's doing brilliant. I watched his last few fights. He's a class fighter. And even you mentioned Lewis Crocker there a while ago. There's, and without mentioning more, there's countless boxers up there. So it was great to be amongst them, to be around them, to be topping the bill was something special to me. So that Celtic title that's what as I said, that's what has me back hungry today, back in the gym. So I'm getting after that now. And what a beautiful thing to be aiming at.
Yes, as you can hear someone working hard there in the background.
Yeah.
Obviously, Limerick's buzzing at the minute as well. I think over the last 3 weekends, you'd obviously Lee Reeves, fighting in Sheffield. You Graham obviously fighting in Scotland, and obviously yourself fighting in Belfast. Is it probably? I know when you spoke to Graham, we obviously call him the granda of obviously boxing in Limerick, but with so many pro boxers now out of Limerick, probably the conversations probably need to be had on getting a pro show in Limerick.
For sure. Well, I think Boxing Ireland need to aim at doing that definitely, because yeah, even if you just have one of these guys on the show, it's going to sell out. You know what I mean? Limerick have a reel, as you would have heard from Graham before he spoke about it. People get behind behind their fighters, behind their hurlers, behind everyone back here. They really do. The support system in Limerick is incredible, man, and it's something that separates our city. In a certain sense, the support back here is incredible. So I know that there are certain promotions already talking about it. I don't know if I can name anything, but I've heard a lot of wind even coming from the UK in relation to a show back here. So look, I think we're emerging now as one of the premium boxing counties in the country. So it'd be silly not to. You know, Belfast have plenty of shows. You get plenty in Dublin. Outside of that, I think Limerick is the spot now. Look at the names down here.
Yep, and obviously, you know, probably the godfather of boxing, obviously Andy Lee's from Limerick as well, and you know, you Paddy Donovan, Eric Donovan, and Jason Hardy. I think it's Jason and Eddie's promoter, Northern Sports Club's probably potentially looking at Limerick, but so many fighters across so many different promotions. It's obviously who's going to get there first and reap the benefit of obviously what Limerick has to offer.
100%. Yeah, they are looking at a show here, but look, I don't think it's really a race to who gets here first, Steve. I think that there's room for many shows. There really, really is, because people down here love a good fight, and as I said, they get behind their own. So, as many shows as they can fit in here, I can guarantee you they'll all be sellouts, definitely.
And like sort of for yourself as well, you know, I know there's obviously another. I was obviously DM'd on Sunday, obviously, about another potential opponent for you in the future, and John Carpenter. Probably when you look at John, obviously he's about to have his third fight of 2021, and he had no experience whatsoever in boxing before, and yourself that had no experience. The two and individually are sort of ripping up the form book to say you don't need to have a long and established amateur career. As long as you have fight and hunger, you can achieve whatever you want in the sport.
Yeah, he's doing brilliant. I didn't see his fight over in Scotland, but I heard he boxed very, very well. So yeah, he's 2-0. He's in good hands with a good coach, and he's got a good promotion behind him. So why can't he? I can see him doing very, very well. In relation to what you're saying there, yeah, it's unfair for me to take away from what the amateur sport offers. You know what I mean? You see a lot of guys. Shaun often talks about how amateur boxing, how important it is, from the perspective of learning how to slip, just the small little things from the get go. Sorry about the pad work down here, man. I came upstairs. But yeah, obviously amateur boxing is very, very important. But if I didn't back myself from the get-go, I wouldn't have done this anyway. Probably what opened my eyes was I get to spar high-level, real top amateurs on a regular basis, so I can gauge myself from that perspective. But listen, there can't be enough said for belief and heart also.
And obviously now that you're getting into, you know, you're establishing yourself as a pro boxer, is there never any ambitions to go back to Muay Thai again, or is it? I guess it's one of them play as it comes.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out at all, Steve. I wouldn't rule it out. As I said, I'm a fighter, and what happened with COVID, it left us without fights for so long, Steve, that I just want to continue to fight and fight and fight. My hand still isn't the best, man. I haven't really spoke about the hand too much online, but it wasn't the best going into this fight, and it still ain't the best. So luckily now, I think I'm going to have to put myself in a position where if I want to go and get it assessed properly and go work out a long-term plan, I can, and still maintain my position up around the top of the division and come back and fight for the belt I was promised for, you know. So maybe that might be the best option. In saying that, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be after the fight. So we'll see. But yes, I just want to continue fighting. I wouldn't rule out Muay Thai at all in the future again. It's a great sport.
And obviously with you having a bit of a hand injury as well, as a sort of hold off for a bit. I know there's potential. I think Leonard says that Celtic Clash 13 is going to be announced at some stage this week as well. Is the idea of probably trying to get yourself onto that card again, or sort of take a bit of a break and relax?
See, that's what the next kind of week is about, Steve, assessing that. I'm sitting down with my athletic therapist and my coach, Shaun. I actually haven't seen Shaun since the fight. He's just after arriving in downstairs. That's where you hear the pad work from. So sit down with Shaun, sit down with Craig, and we're going to go through our options and what we think the best is going forward. I wouldn't rule either of them out. I wouldn't rule out I wouldn't rule out fighting in November, or I wouldn't rule out the break. But I'll definitely keep you posted, my friend.
It definitely is. And how did the birthday celebrations go then? I know pretty much as you get out of the ring, it was a couple of double whiskies you had for a celebration.
Yeah. I had double whiskies, man. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I just wanted to. Do you know what it probably was, Steve? I was scared of the bar closing before I got downstairs. So yeah, I wanted to fuel up. But yeah, I don't know what, it didn't go that heavy. throughout my youth, or not my youth, but early stages of fighting career, I probably would have went for 2 or 3 days, to be quite honest with you. I had a couple of drinks. I was back in the hotel early enough, man, and I had an old trip to Dublin planned for the next few days. So I got back to the hotel, got up and got freshened up, went and watched a bit of soccer with the boys, and then after Dublin I went. So I'm nice and fresh. At the start of my Muay Thai career, or maybe after I won the title, I'd certainly still be drunk now.
It definitely was trying to find ways to drink through the belt, you know.
Yeah, man.
But obviously now that you're starting to establish yourself more, it's like gratified success, obviously, for what you've done as a fighter, and you probably, hopefully, off the back of the can, they probably call people the can man, offered any fight, take any fight. Hopefully the good things are going to happen for you. Obviously you can get more sponsorship involved and things like that, because boxing in any sport is a very, very tough sport to be in, so you sort of have to reap the benefits of it in some ways. So hopefully, fingers crossed, out of what you're doing in boxing is going to bring you some success in terms of some really nice big sponsorship deals.
Please God, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's the aim. No, look, that's what comes with these kind of fights, Steve. If you put yourself out there and take the risk, you can gain rewards like that. So that's something I'm going to look at for sure. I feel that I'm quite marketable, and I feel I have a lot more to offer. I had a good performance the weekend, but there was a lot I did wrong. You know what I mean? I know if I box to the best of my ability, I can make it an easier fight than that. And I still didn't get to show a lot of what I can do. So the best, trust me, I have a lot more to show. And I'm just eager and hungry now to get back in there and to continue to show my ability, because I know what I can do in there. And in relation to sponsorships, they're going to come. Luckily, I have a lot of businesses already behind me to make, because you know yourself, Steve, we're getting these away opponents and everything to do with a camp. It really ain't easy. So without these sponsorship deals that I have, these people, small businesses looking after me in the city, I don't know where I'd be. So thank you to them. But certainly I have my eyes on bigger things now, and I'm going to continue to work towards that.
Definitely is. But Jamie, listen, we'll obviously thank you once again for catching up with us. Obviously, it's good to celebrate our 100th interview of the year, but obviously having you on with your own success. Hopefully it was
meant to be, bro.
Hopefully the hands obviously end up being okay, and we can sort of get you back in action soon, because I guess the longer you stay at the ring, obviously it'll be maybe harder to make super middleweight.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could say that, but no, I actually make super middle so easy, Steve. So easy. Like that fight there at the weekend was 78 kg. I barely even cut weight, kind of 1 day weight cut. So for a big guy, I have skinny legs, man. I think that's how I make it so easy. But yeah, that's never going to be an issue. But yes, like you said, man, I just want to keep active now. I have a lot more to show, and I'm hungry for more glory. And just grateful, man. This is what I love to do. I love to fight, man. And that night the other night was special. What you want more than top of the bill in Belfast? That's the stuff of dreams. So I'm delighted, man. I just want to keep fighting. And thank you very much for your time today, bro.
Not a problem, Jamie, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
100%, man. 100 interview, man. Delighted with that now, yeah?
Definitely. Thanks very much for your time, Jamie.
God bless, bro. All the best.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.